Hey, my magicals! Okay, so quick energy update. Well, maybe not a quick one, not a long one either, though. I don't want to make it too long today. But Kelso and I have been having little conversations around the retrogrades because you know me, I get all dramatic and I throw my toys out, especially when it's Mercury, which we're in now. But he's asked me to reassess how I feel about them and to actually start using them as tools. So we've had conversations over the weekend, and so I thought I would come on and just give you an idea of what each of the retrogrades are going to be about, what they are about. They are all in action now, guys. We have got 4 planets in retrograde at the moment, and we've got Chiron going into retrograde at the end of the month. Chiron is an asteroid that is very heavily associated with deep-seated, like, emotional woundings that need to be healed. Okay, and that bugger's going into retrograde on the 30th of July. Okay, and it's there until January. It's the only retrograde that lasts into next year. So, well, that's in play at the moment. Okay, so I thought, well, I'll quickly contextualize it for you and how it came up. And then what we're going to do is I will give you the dates as I go through them. And I've broken them down into the 5 different retrogrades and in the order that they went into retrograde in, right? Because we've still got Chiron coming up. So I think I'll probably do a Chiron reading at the end of the month because it's going to be a big one with everything else at play. Now, a couple of things I want to say quickly before we start this. I have been saying to you for a long time that last year and this year were set up years for next year because next year's a 1 cycle. It's a 9-year. Guys, take this seriously. The reason that this all came about was because I had started having, okay, I don't know if I've told you this before, I can't remember, but in a nutshell, really briefly, very often when things come up for me to heal, the way that Kelso does it is he plays scenarios in my head, okay? He puts me into situations of people that I care about, and they're not real situations, right? They're just like illusions. And the scenario will roll out in my head, and something will happen, and I will be triggered badly. And then I'm going, okay, I haven't healed this. Now, ironically, after 9 years of working on myself, of 9 years of doing the work around being betrayed in relationships and love and all of that stuff, all the self-love, all the self-worth, it's come up for me now that I don't trust love. I don't trust that I'm not going to be betrayed. Now, the reason I'm saying this to you is because this is very, very important, okay? I am dealing with a very specific aspect of that at the moment. It's not betrayal in general. So it's not like I feel like my next partner is going to cheat on me. That's not what it's about. It's a very specific form of betrayal with me where the partner will choose a friend over something that I feel strongly about or something like that. And I'm not talking about silly things like, don't go and have a beer on a Saturday afternoon or something. I'm talking about big core stuff, right? Very often I will do an energy read on people and people don't believe me, and then it comes to pass that I was correct. And that's happened, it's played out in all of my relationships. That has not been resolved. That's the betrayal that has not been resolved within me. Okay. I do not trust that my next partner will not let me down like that. Now, the reason I'm telling you this again is not to go into my private stuff, but to show you that when something comes up, and shit is gonna come up, guys, you've got 5 strong energies that are in retrograde at the moment. Retrogrades take us into the past. It's why they look like, or it feels like they are going backwards. It's going back into the past to give us a chance to reassess, to reevaluate, to realign. Okay? Big energies at play. And what I want to say to you is the reason I've told you this little story is because whatever happens and whatever comes up for you in the next couple of months, and you think, oh shit, I've healed that, it's fine. Make sure that it isn't a different aspect of what needs to be healed. Make sure it's not showing you something where you are still being triggered. If you are being triggered by something, you haven't healed it. It's that simple. Okay. It's still there. It's like, if you've got a scab on your arm still, the wound hasn't fully healed. So if a scab can be picked and can be irritated, then that's exactly what an emotional trigger is. Right. So just be clear on that. That's why I'm telling you that little story. I was so bleak. I was like, of course I trust my partners. I've done all of this work, and maybe not so much. Okay, so what we're going to look at is we're going to start off with Pluto. Pluto has gone retrograde first. We've had Pluto in retrograde since the 4th of May. I do really am tempted to say may the 4th be with you, because this is a big one as well. Pluto is a very intense planet. In fact, all three of the planets are outerish planets, besides Mercury, but we know Mercury affects our daily life. Chiron is just an asteroid. I say just an asteroid, but it carries a lot of weight around deep-seated emotional healing. Okay, but Pluto's a really deep planet. Okay, it's a really intense planet, and it's going to be with us until the middle of October, the 13th of October. Okay, but we've had it since May. So what we need to look at around this is this brings up our subconscious stuff, guys. This is the shadow shit that we need to look at. Okay, that's all about Pluto's all about that deep diving, intense stuff. Not that Neptune isn't, but just in a different way. Right, so we need to look at our patternings, our behaviors, and our unconscious behaviors. There is a lot of subconscious energy around Pluto when we go into retrogrades. Understand that every single retrograde calls for introspection and reflection. And Kelso is saying the reason that he wants to put this out there for you guys is because he's saying start using it as a tool. Stop rushing into action when things happen. Stop, you don't react, respond. There's a difference, right? Take the time to actually just respond as opposed to have a reactive energy when something comes up. And he's saying this introspection and reflection period, right, is going to be huge for you guys to manage. And all of us, I'm going through it. So you're not alone in this, right? To really make us look at where we are holding ourselves back in every area, where we are not doing the work to heal ourselves. And again, I go back to this year and last year, we're about setting us up for next year. All of this comes to an end, right, at the beginning, by the beginning of next year, which is giving us the opportunity to set ourselves free of this burden so that we can go into next year receiving what needs to happen. Bearing in mind, Jupiter is still in Cancer until June next year. So this year, while we're doing all this work, right, Jupiter's not only going to reward us for doing the work we're doing now, but the abundance that will be allowed into our space when we've gotten rid of all the old stuff will just be massive next year. That's kind of the principle that we're kind of looking at astrologically at the moment. Okay, so Pluto, right, shadow work, guys. There's no getting around it. I want to say quickly, with all of this energy going on and still everyday life, I mean, we've got a new moon coming up as well in Leo. So it's like a big, bold, be courageous, take action. So the universe is going, I'm going to throw a handful of retrogrades at you where you need to go deep and intense. And then the new moon goes, set your intentions and put your actions. And then we're all like, whoa, what the fuck? You know? So what I'm going to say to you here is make sure that you are balanced, you are grounded. Make sure that you are clearing your chakra systems, that if you are needing to cut cords, guys, now's the time. Let it go, okay? It's a very freeing way of releasing your energy and calling your energy back to you, not allowing other places, people, situations to have access to you, right? Very important. So those are the kinds of things you're needing to manage. Do your journaling, okay? Make sure that you're doing your journaling or automatic writing or whatever it is that you do. These are important times. They are very important times. And for me to say I'm going to try and use a retrograde as a tool, you know that shit's getting real. Because I normally bemoan them. I'm bitch and moan like you got no idea. Okay, so Pluto asks us, okay, Pluto also can just, I'm just going to say, is like Mercury, can bring up past relationships. In fact, most of them can if they're unresolved issues around it, just putting it out there gently in the corner, just in different ways, right? But this is about looking at what needs to be resolved in issues, in past issues, in past relationships, but also integrating the lessons and the experiences you've had from the past relationships. Okay, very important. Integration is everything. Even when you're doing your shadow work, we are a balance of light and dark. It's that simple. Okay, and we need to get that balance right. We really do need to get that balance right. This is asking you to check your motivations big time. Why do you behave the way you do? Why do you act the way you do? Right? Remember what I said to you. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be responsive. There's a different energy. And sometimes no response is the best response. Okay. But know when that needs to happen. Okay. So it's asking you to look at all of these things, right? I've actually written notes because there's just too much for me to remember. I'm not going to lie. Find the root cause of your behaviors. Spend some time looking at why. What wounding are your behaviors coming from? Are you limiting yourself? Is it self-worth? What is it that creates specific behaviors in you? It's kind of like motivations for actions, but motivations can have an element of self-will to them. Well, they do have an element of self-will to them, whereas the root causes are normally things like woundings. Okay, let's just try and put it that way, if that makes sense to you. Okay. This energy, Pluto, if I'm not mistaken, it's a death card in the tarot. This is massive transformation, guys. This is the earth-shaking, life-changing kind of transformation. And we're going through this retrograde now. Whatever happens, and whatever healings you do, and whatever integration and shadow work you do, will be game-changing for you as you move forward. Right. It's a game changer. Completely and utterly a game changer. So I'm going to say to you that it is very important that you pay attention to this one. All right. Significant changes can be catalyzed in your life during this period. And the more you pay attention to the work you do, the greater the changes, for the better. Okay. Change is never going to be to our detriment. It's going to be for our better. The only way change can be to our detriment is if we choose a change that's going to be to our detriment, and we are working from our programming and our woundings. Okay, so let's be clear about that. When the universe has changed shit, you know that it's for your highest good. Okay. Okay, so very much about the deep diving, guys. Big transformations with Pluto, and that leaves us on October the 13th, just so we're clear. Then we go into Neptune. This is the planet of illusion and fantasy, okay, associated with Pisces. So there we go. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pluto is associated with Scorpio. So also intense, right? These are very intense signs. Two of the water signs are like really deep and intense signs. They're energies like that are, okay. So Neptune, right? This is a very spiritual. It's a very spiritual planet as well. Neptune does look a lot at spirituality and that kind of energy. So what we're going to be talking about here is this is a period now to develop our spiritual growth, right? And to also just look at our illusions, but also our belief systems around spirituality. Illusions are across the board though, right? This is a time where shit gets real and the truth is bared. It's laid bare. It's that simple. We've got Neptune in until the December the 10th. So from now until then, you could be finding out stuff like perfect example. We all know this. Let's be honest. We all watched it. The Kiss Cam at Coldplay. You can thank Neptune for that. Neptune was like, you dumbass motherfuckers. I'm in retrograde and you're going to show your affair out in public. Really, really? That's also a bit of Saturn though, to be fair, because Saturn's also retrograde. And that's like getting what you deserve. Not in an unkind way, but what you put out is what you get back in, right? So they've put out a lot of hurt, and that's come back at them. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this, guys? The stuff is playing out in real time on an international platform. This is not just about like, oh, little Mara sitting in like Forest Hills kind of thing. This is international, like it's showing out on a platform. So this Neptune strips all illusion, all delusion. Our little fantasy worlds that we go into, they're not going to be that accessible. So using the magic faraway tree, right? If any of you know about Enid Blyton's magic faraway tree, it was a magical tree and you could climb up to the top, and if you went up a ladder, there was a land above the clouds. Ain't no land above the clouds. Okay? This is where you've got to get real with yourself. particularly about your belief systems, your spirituality, and that, right? What we can expect is spiritual growth, a deeper sense of self-awareness and sense of self, right? And some creative breakthroughs, which is quite nice. So for those of you who do engage with your creativity, I would say play into it now before like into December, because there may be things that you can be putting out. There may be creative businesses and things that you're wanting to start. Now's the time to actually, okay, not when I say now's the time, but between like August and December, don't start new stuff now, because we've got Mercury retrograde, which I'll talk to you about in 2 minutes. Okay. There's a lot going on. So there's a lot to manage here. Okay. I'm not saying this to intimidate you or to terrify you or to scare the bejesus out of you. I'm trying to do this to break it down in a manageable way so that you understand why you are going through what you are going through and what you are feeling. Your dreams might be through the roof. My dreams at the moment are way up there. Okay. You may also be feeling like you are absolutely exhausted, like you have nothing left to give. You can sleep a 12-hour shift and you literally sleep for 12 hours and get up and go, I could go back to bed. Okay. That means your body, your energy is recalibrating to a new timeline. So just breathe. Okay. There is a lot going on, guys. A huge amount. Okay. But Neptune is really and truly bringing all of this to the surface, right? So start looking at what delusion, not also just illusions, what delusions are you holding on to? Okay, what things need to start be clearing out? What realities are you not facing? Because I'm telling you now, Neptune will just strip that shit bare. Like, take the kiss cam as an absolute example of that. Neptune went, Neptune cracked its knuckles, stretched its arms, and went, let me show you. Okay, so please, please, please be aware of that. Okay, Saturn. This is a little bit of a tough one, I'm not going to lie, because Saturn is like our taskmaster. It's like the strict daddy of the planets. But there is a huge thing with Saturn. Saturn is in retrograde until the 27th of November. It's just gone in now, the 13th of July. So we've only been in for 9 days. But Saturn, when you perform, you are rewarded. It's that simple. Okay, you get the rewards. There's no doubt about it. And I've said that to you guys a few times. Okay, so we look at themes of responsibility, structure, long-term goals. This is the setup for the next 9-year cycle. Pay attention in the back. Okay. Right, our foundations need to be reassessed. This is a big one. So in romantic relationships, in friendships, in our businesses, in our workspaces, in our lives, just generally, where do we feel like our foundations are shaky? Are we trusting ourselves with that? Are we working and are we honoring the trust that we have, where we go, that's maybe not the best foundation? Okay. Important energy around foundations, because I think that Kelso is an analogy. He's getting really creative in his old age. Yeah. So basically, like Kelso is showing me, like when you're building something, like you're actually building a house or whatever, and they come to deliver like a whole lot of like really heavy sand. Okay. They're going to put it onto something solid like the driveway, right? They're not going to put it onto a flimsy wooden bridge that's going to break, because, that's not going to hold the sand. It's that kind of analogy where you are placing your energy and your intention to build a life for yourself. Are you placing the sand on the pavement, or are you placing it on a shaky, wakey, kind of cracky wooden bridge that could collapse at any time because there was a stiff wind? Right. It's important that we reassess and we redo if it's the time, if you need to do it now. This is the time to assess that. It's not in 6 months' time when it's out of retrograde and you've had the opportunity to reassess and start planning, how to do this kind of thing. These are about taking actions as and when, okay? Because the quicker we start resolving these things, the faster the reward comes in. And I'm not saying you do it for reward. You do it because you actually want your life to work. There's no good doing a business that you're putting your heart and soul into, but it's on a rough foundation, whether it's mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever it is, spiritually. It doesn't work like that. Okay, people going into spiritual businesses who are not self-aware, who are not, I'm telling you now, people are going to start revealing themselves here. People who work in the spiritual industries who are not authentic, who do not live by spiritual codes and ethos, and who do not work on themselves, or who do not practice what they preach. I mean, I'm completely honest. I fuck up constantly with this. I have good days and I have bad days, but I'm consistent at the trying, right? You're going to find that there are going to be a lot of people shown to the world that are in this Neptune retrograde. We've got until December. I think there's going to be a lot revealed in this next 6 months. Do not kid yourself. And even people that we know, like in our proximities, are going to reveal sides to themselves that we were not aware of. I've started to see it already. I've started to see it with people in our spiritual community already. So you don't want shaky foundations. You're getting a redo now to change it all before you go into next year, because I think that when the stuff starts coming in next year and the blessings and the miracles and all that start coming in next year, it's going to be an overload. So your foundation needs to be solid. Okay, just putting that out there gently in the corner. Right. Addressing unfinished business, reprioritizing your life, right? So get off your candy cane. What's that candy game that everyone plays? That Candy Crush. Don't spend 20 minutes doing Candy Crush. Spend 20 minutes meditating, or spend 20 minutes moving your body, or spend 20 minutes in nature. Okay? Whatever it is that you need to reprioritize, this is the time to do it now. Reassessing during Saturn, okay? What you need to and start putting that into action. Right. Saturn is a planet of limitations at its worst, okay? It's not our favorite aspect of it, but it does exist. You may feel limited during this period. If something comes up and you feel limited, pay attention. It's showing you what needs to change, or if you are triggered by the limitation, what isn't healed. Okay, please bear that in mind. It is very important. Right. Also look at where you are setting limitations on yourself, or whether you are curtailing to limitations set on you by other people. That's going to be a big one, right? It's going to be a very, very big one. So just pay attention. Right. Mercury. Your favorite. Okay, look, Mercury is a bit more superficial. I say superficial, but nothing's really superficial in the spiritual realm. Mercury is with us for a shorter period of time, obviously, because we have it 4 times a year, because why not? I mean, we've got nothing better to do with our time. It starts on the 17th and it finishes on August 11th. Okay, now here's the thing. Do not tell me I did not warn you. Get crystal clear on your communication with the universe, guys. It is unfortunate and it's shitty and it's all of these things, but our Lionsgate portal falls within the realms of Mercury retrograde full on, not the shadow side. Full on. The 8th of the 8th is before the 11th of the 8th. Okay? So I'm going to say be crystal clear in your intentions and your communications with the universe around the 8th of the 8th. I will do a reading over the 8/8 portal, but I'm saying, please, guys, pay attention to that. Okay, vitally, vitally important. So Mercury, we know, miscommunications, travel delays, IT problems, technology problems. Okay, here's the thing with it. The thing we avoid doing, making big purchases. Don't go buy a house during Mercury or buy a car or shit like that, right? Try to just avoid big purchases that could get you into trouble somewhere along the line. If you are having to sign a contract, don't lose a job because it's Mercury retrograde. That's also not the brightest thing. But, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure it's all above board, right? Mercury does also give us a time, again, to reflect and review and reassess and refining what we are wanting to do. So look at your plans. Okay, Mercury talks about our schedules and our plans and things like that. Your communications, how are you communicating? If you've got businesses, are you putting yourself out there the way you want to? That kind of energy, right? So use Mercury for that. Understand that there are going to be delays and stuff like that. Just breathe through it. Do not respond to it. Do not react to it. It's par for the course with our beloved Mercury. Okay, so we just go through it and we breathe. Okay. Right, the last one that we're working with now is Chiron. Chiron only goes in on the 30th, but I thought since we're doing all of this, we'll get it all done so that you're aware of what's going on. Sorry, I'm just sitting on my hands because I'm cold. Okay, so this one is the only one that carries us into January, the 2nd of January. right? 2026. But it's the asteroid Chiron, like I've said to you, associated with deep-seated emotional healing that needs to happen, right? And very important. Right, so again, introspection and reflection, we know this. Sorry, my throat's going, yeehaw. But this is around emotional woundings and unresolved emotional issues. Okay, right. It may very possibly make you feel more vulnerable. Just breathe through it. Vulnerability is a strength, it's not a weakness, right? Okay, so how do we deal with this? How do we deal with Chiron then? Right, I've made some notes here quickly. We just acknowledge the pain. It's going to come up. It has to. The woundings will come up whether we like it or not. Again, look at the triggers and how it hurts. Okay, it's important. The universe will show you. It will come up. Oh God, sorry, that was Alex on my bed moving the wall. Understand the source of the pain. Okay, when you can understand something, you can move forward from it. You can either then heal it, you can know how to heal it, or you can just move on from it because you understand that maybe it wasn't about you. Maybe someone else couldn't show up in ways that they needed to, or they were working from their broken, or whatever it is. Understanding is key to healing. It really is key to healing. Okay. And then you really do need to process a bit of self compassion. When we break in different ways through woundings, we need to show ourselves kindness and compassion during the healing process. We've spoken about this a few times. It is what it is. There's no point in going, I don't know why I dated him. He was an asshole. And, I should have seen the red flag. No, you should have, but you can now. Okay, so don't focus on the lack of something. Focus on what's actually showing up for you to say, listen, good job. You can actually identify those red flags now. Integrate that. Remember, I said to you, integration is important, right? So integrate that. All right. Guys, healing is never linear. It's never going to be linear. Shrek was right. We're onions. It's going to come up in layer after layer. Breathe through this next 6 months. It's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's intense. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself energetically, mentally, physically. Do what you need to do to get yourself balanced and aligned, because if you play your cards right, next year it will be a very different year for you. For all of us, if we all play our cards right. We've got to face the things now that we have been putting off facing. We need to take care of business, guys. This is a 6 months to do it. So the planets are literally giving us pauses to do this. And that's the beauty of their gift. We go into retrograde going, oh, but what we're not seeing is that, as for those of you who don't know, it almost seems the planet actually is moving forward, but it seems like it's moving back. Okay, it's a time continuum thing, which I've got absolutely no clue about. But there's like it appears to be going backwards, okay, into the past. It's giving us this time. Take the gift. Very seldom in life do we get gifts of time. Make sure that you are using it and that you are working towards a better version of yourself. Because that's what this is about. It's a journey. It's never going to be a destination. Ever. Never. So if you're hoping for Spiritual Club Med, good luck with that. I'm going to be on the Spiritual Orient Express, enjoying the view as I'm going along. Because I've spent so many years fighting it, wanting to be this and wanting to be that and wanting to be here and wanting to be there, that I have missed a lot of my journey. And I'm not prepared to do that anymore. So breathe it in, guys. Breathe it in. We have the gift of time, which is massive for us. And the gift of being able to have the universe saying, okay, so these 5 little energies are coming at you, but all of them are, it's like we've got five wise men now. I'm going to say wise women, actually, probably, because, I'm just going to say 5 wise women coming at us with gifts, bearing gifts for us to heal our souls. Now's the time. So I am sending you so much love, as always. and I will catch up with you soon. I'm not sure how this week's going to play out. I'm stopping making promises because every time I do something, something goes wrong. Wi-Fi goes down, all this happens. But I'll see you when I see you. In the meantime, I'm holding space for all of you and wishing you so much love and so much joy in your journey. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Big loves.